Hello and welcome back to St Michael's Hill for another monthly update. There's been quite a lot going on this month. A lot of it's not too interesting, I'm afraid, so the update will be fairly short even though a lot of work has been done. I will show you what has been done, although I won't go into a great amount of detail because, like I said, wiring is not the most interesting of tasks. But firstly, let's look at this new arrival and clear up what's going on, because clearly the ultra-modern Great Western Railway livery does not typically belong on my layout. So what is happening here? For any of you that are hoping that I've forgotten about South Wales in the mid to late 90s, I'm afraid you're going to be sorely disappointed, as these power cars do not represent a big change for me. They are going to be used actually for just the chassis alone. This is the Hornby Railroad HST. It's the latest one, I believe, and for that they've used the old Lima tooling. So my plan for this is to use it as a donor for the Lima power cars that I've got in the Great Western livery. So here we go. This is the eventual body shell that the new versions will be using. There are a couple of reasons that I have chosen to do this. Firstly, the latest power cars are equipped with NEM pockets, which will allow me to use a Hunt magnetic coupling or something similar. The other thing is that the motor has been replaced, I believe, inside the railroad version. I actually literally just received these in the last kind of half an hour, so I haven't had the time to get it off, get the body shell off, but I certainly believe that at the very least it'll be a DCC ready loco, hopefully with a slightly new engine that will have a bit more grunt than the old Lima one, that not only was very noisy but probably wouldn't be able to pull a prototypical length HST. The plan is to use the power car that's in front of you, remotor that with the Strathpeffer junction CD motor conversion kit, and then have a motorised unit at each end of the HST. I'll have to double check that I can actually get away with that whilst keeping the motorised bogie, or at least trying to swap out the motorised bogie for one with the NEM pocket, but I'll have a look into that. At the very least, I've got more chance of pulling a longer train with the modern day tooling. Also in the post today, I received 2 new locos for the layout. It's not strictly true, as neither loco is completely new to me, but they have both been returned from GC Weathering in new guises. This loco 47326 started life as 47306, named the Sapper. It's been sent away and been returned with a new number and new name, which is Saltley Depot, quality assured. This is a loco that was often seen in Newport during the period. The donor model was a kind of almost perfect fit for it, so it's quite an easy conversion. GC Weathering have removed some of the factory weathering from the cab ends, as the cabs of these locos were generally kept quite tidy, whereas the distance between the doors tend to be left to get a lot more dirty. They've also fitted the end of train detailing, so the brake pipes and things like that, and also given the loco a nice overall weathering. It's quite light, but certainly looks the part. You don't want to get too grubby, as in reality most locos certainly won't. This loco will be used to pull intermodal trains and potentially enterprise workings with steel traffic and things like that, so that's what the loco will be up to, but it's nice to have something that's quite unique. Later in the video I'll show you what else GC Weathering have done for me in the last month, something very different again to this. A considerable amount of my time this month has been spent wiring the layout. You can see here the twisted black and red wire at the top of the screen now is the bus wire, and that runs pretty much the length of the layout, and all the other wires are coming down into them at the moment are dropper wires. So the black are the common return, and the red ones will end up being the detection wires that feed into my DigiKeys units. At the moment, whilst a lot of the wiring has been done, the whole of the fiddle yard droppers have been kind of soldered up to the bus wire. There's still a fair distance to go, as I need to use the DigiKeys feedback units and have all of the red wires link in before I'm able to kind of run things. I'll do a full video on the wiring for the automation in a future video. Whilst I said wiring isn't all that interesting earlier on, and I do fully agree with that when it comes to soldering bus wires and all that sort of stuff, the automation and the system and the kit that's used for that is actually quite interesting. So when I do the board on here, which is the lift out section, I'll fully kind of film the process and show you how the wiring goes together for that. But yeah, I have managed to get pretty much the whole length of the fiddle yard all kind of wired up and connected to the bus wires. The wire that you see hanging down here is the wire that's going to connect up to the DR5000, which is my control unit. It's going to be very much a case of the DR5000 will control all the end here and the fiddle yard, and then I will probably end up getting a DigiKeys booster to control the scenic section and depot. So there'll be kind of two districts to the layout, and that will help with various things from kind of shorting and things like that, but also just to kind of make sure that the power that is being supplied to the layout is suitable for the amount of trains and accessories and things that I'll be running. The second loco that's been returned this month from GC Weathering is 47829. This started life as 47834, which was a Firefly, which was generally used for the Royal Train. So it kind of had white tyres and was generally in a pristine condition, had a red buffer beam, and it generally looked very smart loco. However, I really wanted something that was very much more an everyday intercity loco. So after lots of research trying to find a correct kind of donor, 47829 seemed to be a good fit. Been very, very lightly weathered. Most of it is focused on the roof around the kind of exhaust area and also the undercarriage. As you can see, the white tyres have been completely removed, and the buffer beam cowling has been painted black from red. The pipework and things like that have been fitted at one end, and I'm very, very happy with kind of the overall standard of work that's been done on this loco. These locos, from the pictures I found, were generally very clean on the sides, so it's just been kind of replicated here, and I'm very, very pleased with the amount of weathering that's on here. Very, very subtle, but certainly looking a lot more realistic than the very shiny Royal Train that went off to have the work done. And one more addition this month, and that is 4 of these Mark III Intercity Hornby coaches. I decided to pick up the TSOs whilst I could. The first class buffets and the TGS generally stay around for quite a lot longer, so I thought I'd grab these while I could, and hopefully over the next few months I'll pick up the others. I do already have a couple of first class and the buffet cars, so I might not even need to replace those depending on what I choose, but I kind of thought it'd be great to be able to have a full HST in City Swallow livery and a full HST in the Great Western Merlin livery as well. These were picked up from KMS Railtech, who luckily enough for me had one of each of these left in stock when I picked them up, so very happy, and I was very pleased to say that for the first time using them I was delighted with the service they provided. Very, very quick, lots of updates through shipping process, and it was a very, very good service indeed, so I would thoroughly recommend them in the future. The other thing that I've been doing this month is laying track. You see a couple of bottles of mask gold and varnish there, just holding down a section. There is one section that needs to still go in between the points and the last section there, and then some other track needs to go into that gap, and the end of the piece you can see just on the left hand side of the MEO wagon is not fixed down yet. It goes as far as all those cans and things that are holding the track in place. All the other track has been laid, and I'm quite happy with how it's all gone together. What that does mean is I now have a full loop, and whilst there isn't power yet, I can run a coach or something like that around the full loop of the layout. So whilst that's effectively a man pushing a train around a track like a Brio toy, it's still a massive achievement. I'm very pleased that I've got here. Over the next few weeks, I'll get the power sorted out, and hopefully we'll then have a train that's being pulled under its own steam. It's very much the plan, and it's going to be very much the focus for the next month's work, really. Carry on getting the wiring done, get more point motors wired in and things like that. There's quite a few points around the layout where, certainly in the scenic section, where I've taken out the springs, so they're being held kind of in position by pins. You might be able to see that here even. There's a little pin here that's holding the point, otherwise there's nothing to really hold it in place as the spring's been removed. The reason I've done that is just to kind of improve the running with the point motors that I'm going to be using. But yeah, other than that, it's all kind of fairly good and fairly nice to start working. The only other piece of work that I've started to do is just to put the base layer of paint down on the scenic section in just a very small area. This is going to be very much reminiscent of the test piece that you may have seen a few weeks ago. Using the Plasticoat Suede, which is a perfect colour for a kind of concrete base. Really love this paint, and I will put a link in the description below because lots of people keep asking me about where to get it from. So yeah, you can pick it up from Amazon. It is an affiliate link, but it's basically the best concrete paint around, and if you want, you can certainly get it from anywhere else as well, but Amazon tend to do a good deal on a couple of cans at the same time. So if you are interested in that, please do help out the channel and use their link below. That's pretty much it for this month's video. Like I said, it's not a very long one because showing you all the wiring I've done isn't the most entertaining video. I didn't want to just throw in a load of time-lapse of me soldering away, but I hope you can see that quite a lot's been done in terms of progress, and very much looking forward to getting the trains that you can see in front of me running on the new layout, hopefully sometime in the next month or two. It really just depends on how available all the parts that I need are. I know that the point motors that I use are currently out of stock, but hopefully James at DCC Train Automation will have those in soon. Once that's done, I can start to kind of get a lot of this wired up. My plan very much to start with is to get the fiddle yard wired up so I can run trains just in this area, probably as far as these kind of joins here, and at the other end probably a similar sort of area, just so I can kind of play around with iTrain and get used to that whilst I'm kind of doing that. The scenic side, I'll get all the tracks painted, and from there on in it'll be a case of wiring that up afterwards, and then I'll be working on the kind of whole layout really. But anyway, like I said, that's pretty much it for the month, and hopefully I'll have a video up in the next month with the start of a new project that I'll be working alongside the layout. So hopefully that'll be interesting to a few people. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining me on St Michael's Hill, and I'll be back this time next month, if not before. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.